Hi, it's Mr. Canada, and today we're looking at adding and subtracting vectors, so the actual calculations with our column notation. So it's very similar to just addition and subtraction normally, except now we want to add and subtract x from x and y from y. So things that we normally do, but we're just going to, easier way is just write them as separate equations. So that means if we look at example 1, I am actually going to split them into a top half and a bottom half and write them separately. So taking them out of their brackets, then we can just say 3 plus 1 equals A. And on the bottom, we have 2 plus negative 1 equals B. So here we can see that we can leave them as 4 for A, and B, 2 plus negative 1 is just 1. Okay, so here we have solve for A and B. Well, we have negative 1 minus 3 equals A. Therefore, A equals negative 4, because negative 1 minus 3. And then secondly, we have 1 minus negative 2 equals B. Right? So if we notice, this will turn into a positive. So 1 plus 2 equals B. B equals 3. I always put them back into vector notation, in column notation, because we can just see, if we have to plot this, it's really easy. If we have to describe it, if we're asked to put it in column notation. Here is a little bit different because, well, we're not actually solving for a vector. We're just trying to fill in the blanks. So this is just, like I said, this part of it, as long as you're good at solving equations or adequate, this part's really not hard because it's basic algebra. So here, how do we move this 3 to the other side? We add it to each side. We're going to find we have A equals 5. Right? So secondly, let's do the B part. So we have 1 minus B equals 1. So let's just move this B to the other side. So we have plus B plus B. So we're left with 1 equals 1 plus B. I'm doing this in multiple steps, even so, though I don't have to. And here we can subtract 1 to get B by itself, and we'll find that B is equal to 0. So A equals 5, B equals 0, and you cannot really put it in the vector. All you could do is you could substitute it back in and write the original form, but I would just leave it like that. Okay, so 6 questions to answer. Please pause the video whenever you're ready. Press play, and we'll go through the answers. Okay, so we have 1 plus 3, or 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. 4 plus 1 is equal to 5. So for these first ones, first 4, I'm just going to state them at the end like that. Here, we're going to have it as 8, and negative 2 plus negative 1 is negative 3. Then we have 6 minus 3, which is 3 on top. And on the bottom, 5 minus 4 is 1. Here is a little bit more tricky because we have lots of different signs. So make sure you apply that negative in the middle to both on here. So if you notice, if it's both negative, negative, just get rid of these ones and change this to a plus. Okay? You can prove it to yourself that I'm right by take them out of their brackets. Not brackets, sorry, taking, well, out of the brackets and out of that form. So it just works with the x's and y's. So you have negative 2 plus 3 is 1, and 5 plus 1 is 6. Now for these ones, well, A minus 1 equals 5, so 6 minus 1, so A equals 6, and then 3 minus something equals B. Well, we want to get to negative 2, so B has to be negative 5, right? Because 3 to 0 is 3, and then we have to take away 2 more. Here, this is kind of the harder side of things. So this one I'm actually going to write out the equations. Because it involves, well, we can't exactly do anything with the top expression. 2 variables, right, and 1 value that we know. We have no idea what we're doing there. At the bottom, though, maybe if we write it out, we can see something. Well, we can see that we can get B by itself, right? So let's add B to both sides. Right? Add B to both sides, and also move our numbers as well. So that's just, I'm doing it all in one step. You do not have to, but the result's the same. 4 equals b. Okay? So now that we have this 4 equals b, now we can put it back in our other expression and get back our value. So this is kind of like our simultaneous equations. It actually really is, and it's one way that one reason we need our simultaneous equations. So here we have a minus 4 equals 2. That way a has to be 6. Okay? So now you have solved for a and b.